Look, nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to buy, but no one likes to be sold. And we don't want to do any kind of chiropractic process that gives them the feeling and makes you feel like you're a salesman.
Welcome to AMC. I'm Dr. Greg Miller. Do you have a process when it comes to taking on new patients? Today, Tom Owen is going to talk about what it takes before a patient even steps through your door. His advice on establishing relationships is particularly helpful. If this video is helpful for you, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Let's get started.
You know, over the years, I've talked to thousands of chiropractors, regardless of their background, their philosophies, what school they went to, or their techniques, or their art, their application, regardless of whether or not they're doing, practicing straight chiropractic, Gonstead, upper cervical, maybe they specialize in nutrition or even functional therapies. Regardless, if you're practicing under the heading of chiropractic, then you are dealing with a doctor-patient relationship. And so often, we focus so much on the practice of whatever that art is, whatever that technique may be, you forget the fact that you're in a people business. And as I've talked to these thousands of chiropractors, I always ask them, how many came out of school with the idea that they wanted a stress-free, self-sustaining, referral-based practice? And almost every hand will always go up. Well, if you're going to have that kind of practice, whether you want to go the pain model or the wellness model, doesn't really matter. You're still in the people business. As long as you're in the service industry, it means you're in the people business. And if you don't have a mindset going into that doctor-patient relationship, then there's going to be missteps and there's going to be factors in those processes that are going to eliminate or let's say, shorten the lifespan of that doctor-patient relationship sooner than it should be. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Just pick out a few factors that you can use to have in your mind before you ever even meet the patient. First and foremost, there has to be a process. In other words, you don't just let somebody walk in the door, say, hey, what's wrong with you? I'm sure I can help you. Jump on the table and let's get going. No, there needs to be a process to where the relationship has an opportunity to progress and actually just establish a foundation of trust. And that happens through a process called your CER. Now, most people jump right into the report or they jump right into the exam, but they don't realize that of those three, consultation, exam, report, which one's most important? It's going to be the consultation. Because here's an example. How many people have ever had a patient come in, they fill out all their paperwork, they go through the process, and they go up front, they make another appointment to come back for the report, they even pay for it for that first visit, and then they don't come back for the report of findings. All right? The fact that that happens tells you that sometimes you don't even get a chance to give the report of findings if you don't establish that relationship from the beginning. So again, going back to understanding that when you walk through that door into a consultation room, which I just gave you a little pointer there, if it's one of the most important procedures in a chiropractic practice. So your problems so often, doctors, your problems are not insurance. Your problems in most cases, if you really get down to studying the statistics, are not a lack of new patients. It's not your staff. It's not your market. In most cases, if you learn to keep the business that was already coming in to your office and you learned a process that retained that business, you double your practice in short order. So the consultation is where it starts, and you have to go in with that mindset of knowing that we want to accomplish certain factors in there. Number one, what's one factor that is always going to, it's just going to stand head and shoulders above everything else, above the patient's needs, above the patient's reason for being there. They are not going to keep returning to a chiropractic office if they don't like the office, they don't like the atmosphere, and they don't like you. Now, I'm not telling you to try to be friends with every patient, because a friendship practice is not what we're looking for. But learning to make sure that the patient likes you gives you an opportunity for visit 2, 3, 10, 20. I don't know if someone can have a bad experience or don't like their MD for their yearly annual checkup. They might keep coming back to that just because the insurance pays for it. But make no mistake about it, somebody's not coming back 5, 10, 20, 50 times over their lifetime to a place and someone that they don't like. We're all attracted to what we like. We're not always attracted to what we need. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that they like us. Number 2, we want to hit the number 1 complaint in healthcare today when it comes to the doctor-patient relationship. We want to have a mindset going into that office, into that room, that the patient will know that we understand them, because that's one of the number 1 complaints is no one ever takes time to understand me. It's not that nobody spends enough time with me. That's not the complaint. And secondly, it's not that somebody doesn't listen to me. It's the fact that no one really understands me. Third, we got to get a proper history. And lastly, we need to do this in an efficient manner. All right. So if you don't go into the consultation exam report or the launch of a doctor-patient relationship with a process that allows for an efficient flow, again, you will never, write this one down, you can quote me on this one, you will never outgrow a stress point. So wherever efficiency is breaking down, wherever that's breaking down, then that means proficiency is being starting to take a hit. Proficiency is the quality of your work. Then the next thing that will be hit is your productivity. That's the sheer volume of your work. The last thing that'll be affected will be your profitability. All right, so most chiropractors out there, it's okay. You're not alone. Most chiropractors focus on those 4. Which one do they focus on? Almost every chiropractor I know always focuses on the profit. How can I get more profitable? So they start adding adjuncts. And there's nothing wrong with adjuncts. There's nothing wrong with functional therapies. There's nothing wrong with adding acupuncture or nutrition or weight loss or whatever those components are. But if we're doing that because we have an inefficient process to begin with, you're just going to make it a bigger nightmare than it already was. Or you're going to be round and round and round in circles, and blessed are those that go in circles, for they shall be called wheels. We want to have an efficient process that allows the opportunity for the relationship to nurture itself and build upon a strong foundation, because it's not going to, the patient's relationship, how long that retention is, that's really what I'm talking about. That retention's not going to get any longer or taller or stronger than the foundation it was built on. So I'm telling you, having that in your mind going into it, realizing that there needs to be an efficient process to making sure that in the consultation exam report, they're liking us, they know we understand them, and then we can provide the answers in an efficient manner and not trying to sell them. Look, nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to buy, but no one likes to be sold. And we don't want to do any kind of chiropractic process that gives them the feeling and makes you feel like you're a salesman. So this is what I'm talking about. We want to build that process, and it starts before we ever meet the patient, having and knowing where I'm going to be. So when I reach for that doorknob and I walk in there, I don't have to be fumbling around with and thinking that what's this patient going to say? Compared to the last one. The last one asked me this at the wrong time, and the last time I ended up talking about money at the wrong time, and I lost track. And that, man, shooting from the hip, I don't know if that was ever successful, but today's world, you can't afford that, all right? The cost of doing business, and there is a cost of doing business. There's a cost to those lights being turned on. There's a cost to those tables. There's a cost to your diagnostic equipment. There's a cost to that staff. There's a cost of seeing a patient to begin with. All right, so we need to make sure that there's an efficient, proficient, productive, and ultimately a profitable way. And that all goes with having the mindset going forward, knowing what's going to be accomplished in the next allotted amount of time. And when I say efficient, it means that we can't spend 30 minutes in a consultation room. We can't be giving 45-minute report of findings. We have to have an efficient manner, because there's only so much time in a day. I can't provide you more time. You can't provide yourself more time. We have to utilize the time that we have and make that as productive as possible. All right, lastly, before we wrap this up, if you don't know how have those processes and you really understand what I'm talking about, then that's what AMC is for. We're here to provide that insight and to give something that's reproducible with all personalities. And it doesn't matter your techniques, and it doesn't matter if you ever even give a chiropractic adjustment. You are still in this people business, and you've got to have those processes that allow you the opportunity to not only change their lives, but also be successful in the chiropractic practice. Because it's not, most people aren't there to do it as a charity. You do want to have a good, comfortable, prosperous career, and you've got to do that each day, because there'll come a day that your practicing career is going to come to a close. And how productive we make that day, each and every day, you're going to look back and wish you had some of those back. Because as my dad always taught me, there's learning years, there's earning years, and then there's yearning years. And you don't want to get in those yearning years wishing the earning years were better. We've only got so much time in a day, and we have to make it efficient, effective, productive, and profitable. All right, and last, like I said, last but not least, learn to utilize the power of expectations. The power of expectations. If you don't carry an expectation into that room, then who's going to provide the expectation? The patient that doesn't know what chiropractic is, that's nervous that they're even trying something new? Or is it more important that the mindset be that as I open this door, there's a lifetime chiropractic patient that will stay, pay, and refer, and some will refer many. I'll tell you this, I'll give you a challenge. Try that one, just that right there. Start learning how to walk into each and every room, whether it be a consultation, exam, or report of findings, 5th visit, 8th visit, re-exam visit, wherever you're turning a doorknob. Learn to walk in life with high expectations, and you'll start getting high results. But the rule is, if you just kind of go through life, those are medium expectations. Just kind of going through life, getting through the day. A medium expectation will always produce you low results. And low expectations, well, what do I have to lose? That's a low expectation. Low expectations get no results. So learn to carry high expectations, because, folks, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And if you don't carry a great expectation into that room, the odds are that relationship is not going to be as strong and last as long as maybe it should. Because ultimately, what we're going into that room for, ultimately everything that we're talking about today, it's not about me and it's not about you. Everything we should do in the chiropractic practice should be about the patient. So we need to carry those expectations for the patients, because they don't necessarily know how or why they would. Hope this has been beneficial to you. As you know, the AMC is here for you. That's what we provide this innate material for, and we're always here to serve. With that, be well.
Join us at our next training weekend, January 27th through 29th. If you're new to AMC and would like a free guest pass to 3 days of material like this, text us at 904-966-4996. AMC is your guide to becoming respected, effective, and valued in practice.